Well, it feels good to say that the outside of the build, at least, is complete. Structurally, what you see is what you get from the outside. Inside, not so much. There's plenty of stuff to be doing, as I've said throughout the series, but that's for another day, that's for another episode. I think I might be fibbing to you. I've just had a thought. Right, so get some of this loose stuff on the ground, chuck it over the roof, and what that is going to do is fill these gaps that you just simply can't do with wood, and that'll blend it in with the surroundings a little bit more, even more than it already is, which can't be a bad thing. I'm really happy with it. I'm buzzing. It feels good, doesn't it, when you set out to do something, whether it be throw some sticks on top of some more sticks or whatever it be in life. If you say you're going to do something, you do it. There's a nice feeling in that moment of like completing it, isn't it? And yeah, I've just got it now. It's a good feeling. Embrace it. Soak it up, whatever the win is in life, eh? But anyway, I'll be back here in 2 days, and that will be a camp out, a full day, full night here, and we will be getting on with a little bit inside. That being said, I did a little bit inside earlier. Did you spot that? Let me show you. I decided to put this centre post in because I actually noticed a crack on this lean-to sort of beam that goes across. Obviously, there's a lot of weight being thrown on top of the roof, so it makes sense. And I thought, not only do I not want to get crushed to death while I'm sleeping in here one night, but I also don't want all my time and effort that's been put into it to go to waste. So this big old boy, as you saw, I dug into the ground a bit. I put a stone in the ground, which is just going to prevent it from sinking. Obviously, with the weight pressing down on it and it's wedged in a good one, it would just sink into the earth, especially when it's a rainy sort of season and the ground is already wet. It's just going to be a sponge, and don't know what that sound effect was, but we'll go with it. So hopefully the stone in the ground will just aid that, I guess. I don't feel like it's going to be in the way of anything really. So yeah, happy days. The only thing I do wish I thought when I was doing it, and I could always swap it out, is actually to have like a bit of a stick coming off it like that, just so I could hang lanterns and things to it. That wouldn't be a bad shout in the future, but for now, this serves the purpose. So I'll see you back down here for a camp in a couple of days. Ugh. Oh, get that off me back. I tell you what, I've been bringing my day pack, basically the lighter, smaller pack, down here because I've not been spending the night. But obviously with me spending the night tonight, I've had to bring the big boy. And I tell you what, 20-25 kilo with cooking ingredients, water, everything, you name it, tools, it soon adds up. But it's getting warm, so I'm going to take this off for a start. We've got bits and bobs to be getting on with, haven't we? First things first, I reckon we build ourselves a bushcraft bed. What do you reckon? Are you in with me? Have you done it before? I've never done one, so it might be a bit of a rookie trial and error sort of job, this. But me and you together, we'll get one sorted. We've done this up until now, haven't we? I don't know what I'm coming here for. I ain't got any tools, have I? Right, back to the bag. I mean, I would have packed the tools right at the bottom, wouldn't I? I mean, why have I got this much milk? Let me explain to you. I went into Lidl to grab me bits. And you know the smaller ones you tend to get in supermarkets? Lidl apparently doesn't do it or didn't have any in stock, so I feel like Mary Poppins. Aha! This is what we want. We'll get my scrap and mug out because I'll be having a brew shortly. Actually, remember the lighter this time. Then we want me kniff, me saw. Happy days. I was meant to stop off at a shop and get myself a sandwich for lunch. I definitely didn't do that. But not to worry, because tea is going to be a feast, all being well. Watch me burn that as well. Then I'll just be ravenous. Right, where were we? So, bushcraft bed. I'm thinking we're going to have it somewhere along here. So sort of post to post, that sort of width. Now, you might be thinking, that's quite wide, that lad. But I'd rather have too much space for the air mattress to sit on, and it's sort of hanging off the edges. I think that kind of makes sense. If you're going to do it, have a bit more wiggle room than not enough. So, I'll tell you something I've noticed the last few days. My hand, especially this finger, no offense, is like aching like mad, and I can only assume it's because I'm gripping the axe so much and like the impact of it. I'm only delicate deep down, you know. Oh, that's satisfying.
I found a place full of charms, a magic wood in my baby's arms, a soft embrace they said in the lanes, wondrous place, what a spot in the stars.
So what I'm thinking with this is put a bit of wood in, and it's going to be a sort of a ruler, sort of gauge of measurement, because I don't have a tape measure. And out there, you're cutting in the dark, really. You don't really know what you're working with until you actually get it in here, do you? So, about here. I want the thicker poles for this bed. I don't want them flimsy stuff. I just feel like it's going to be better to have a sturdier, thicker bed. We're lacking thicker than a slice of cheesecake. I'm just going to have a minute to think before I start cutting away with my saw, because if you look over here at this bushcraft build that isn't too far away from mine, this bed they've gone for like slats across. Now what I'm thinking is actually reversing that and having slats going down. I don't know. Let's have a little test of this. Right, I've just cut that piece off, so we've got the length of the bed now. As you can see, using that as basically a template now for a fair few of them, because I have decided we're going to lay them lengthways rather than across like the bed I've just shown you. Could be the wrong decision, but we live and we learn, and that's what this channel's all about. I'm not preaching that I know what I'm doing. We're living and we're learning together, aren't we? It's not that deep, lad. It's not deep. Just cut the bloody wood. So what I've got myself here is 2 posts that I'm now going to cut to the width that I want the bed to be. Lob that one up back end. This one's going to be foot end. And what these are going to work as is basically a base, a bit of like stilts just to lift it off the ground a little bit. Before we go any further, let's get this leveled out. I mean, do we just use a chock of wood? Do you know what I mean? I feel like this one is actually the polar opposite, where it's the other side that's sort of needing a little bit of lift. Feel like Alan Titchmarsh here. Oh, I'm pleased to say that's the last of the posts for the bed. I'll tell you something, I'm feeling a bit sick, hungry basically, because like I said, I forgot my lunch and I can feel it now. Oh, monumental moment. Anticlimactic, but in my head it wasn't. There was drums, angelic music, the lot kicking off then. All right, okay, so that's all of them, and as you can see, we're going to need a few more. No, I thought all the graft was done. Well, it feels good to say it. I've finally got bed sorted, ready for tonight's skip. I've just had myself a coffee. I feel like it's well earned. Anyhow, let's get out there and do a bit more.
You can't camp there, geez.
Hey up, mate, all right.
Hey up. What are you doing, lad?
What's he doing? I mean, it's been a while, lad. Do you not remember a handshake? Well, with it being my first night skip in the shelter, I thought, let's have my first camp with Joe as well. And I wanted to show him this now it's done and dusted.
5-star accommodation here. Where's the ensuite?
It's class, mate. You're loving it. He was like, oh, please let me be the little spoon tonight. I was like, no, you've got your tent. You can be in it. This is the Muppet, right? If you've seen my socials, that convinced me to do a cold plunge every single day of December. I didn't want to do it, but once he sort of squared up to me, because I sort of had to and hated every minute of it, but we haven't been in since, have we?
No. So I've been down here a couple of hours now. George's been showing his sticks off to me. And I've been showing off my drone skills, as you'll see.
They are absolutely class. I thought I was doing pretty well, and I've just had my drone, I've just bought it, and I thought I'm pretty confident, and then he's come down, whapped his out, and I was like, yeah, a lot to learn, mate.
So I basically said George needs to include me in the credits for this, because I want a job as a pilot.
And I said there's only one way you're getting a shout out.
Sleeping bag.
I thought you said you'd already got sleeping system set up anyway.
They're done.
Why you always lying? Now, I told a bit of a porcupine earlier. I said the bed's done. It is pretty much, but I do need to put some pegs in just to stop the bed from rolling and falling apart in the middle of the night. And I'm really happy to be saying these are going to be used. And now what these are, if you were wondering, are the first things I actually made when I came down to this spot, way before the build was even an idea. So essentially my first bit of bushcraft, if you will, that I made. And what they're going to do is, by just hammering them into the ground there, it's just going to stop any movement. I've gone a bit belt and braces with this because I've got a tarp, then I've got a wool blanket to put over, and then a foam mat, and then my air mat. I'm paranoid that it's going to get punctured. Might be, like, it is overkill, innit? But better safe than sorry. Oh, yeah. Here he is. She's ready. And last but not least, me sleeping bag. Right, with the bed being set up, it's now time to get fire going because we've got a stew to cook, and as you know, stews take a bit of time. So I'm thinking right here, but we can't just be having any old fire. We want an established fire pit going forward for these camps, don't we? So I've seen a few rocks like this one further up the field, up wood, shall we say. So let's go get them. Here we are, lads. Right, so I'm going to start by digging myself a bit of a template and then dig slightly into the earth and then use these, obviously. I mean, I might use that as like the platform underneath the fire. The only thing with these that you have to be careful of is I don't know how long these have been out of the river, and if they've been submerged in water for some time, they can actually explode under heat. And that's not something I want to do. I don't want shrapnel in the eye right before I get into my sleeping bag, do I? So the idea here is having the fire on top of this so it doesn't burn into the ground, because as I'm going to be coming back and having multiple fires, eventually it will just basically burn itself into a deep hole. And you don't really want that. Hey, look, mate, look what Joe's got. Ah! Scrap the little shrapnel bits, jigsaw puzzle and all that, and let's have that on. Oh, yes. Look at her. Cheers, mate. Good find. Have a bit of that soil back just to fill it in so then it's at home with itself. Do you know what I mean? Not the most bushcraft way of starting a fire, but
It's cheating.
yeah, do you know what?
We ain't got time for that. We're
I
hungry, aren't we?
Just want to get on and get the stew on the go, do you know what I mean? So you didn't see anything round here. That was definitely a shh. So I've gone and got myself what's this? That is a big spider. See that, lads? I'm not a fan of them.
You can actually see it as well.
Oh, get away from me. And that's one of the reasons why I started doing this sort of thing, not camping inside a tent with a mosquito net, just to like face my fears and stuff. I'm 30, come on, don't be scared of spiders, lad, it's all right. Anyway, I'm distracted, it doesn't take much. Got myself a lantern, electronic one, rather than the old sort of fuel thing. I didn't get on with it. I wanted to, it looks aesthetic, I didn't. So, got myself one of these, and what I'm thinking is, bit of paracord across here, these two beams. Mate, why is there another spider? But yeah, go on, what you're saying, something really boring.
Mate, I was teaching you something.
Oh yeah, is that what that was? Tester. Oh, and we have light. Very homely. Right, how's fire getting on? Oh, it's getting on well, that. So what we're going to do now is let that die down to embers and get the stew on the go. We're going to bob frying pan on there, heat that up, and then brown off the meat before it goes in the pot, along with the rest of the veggies and whatnot. So obviously being a camp, you have to forget some, this time being a chopping board. So we're just going to use the tin. Not ideal for the blade, I know. Oh, it's making me cringe. And I do it against my thumb. See people do that, but I'm just not that confident. Oh! Right, pan's definitely hot enough, so we'll get some fry light on. Bit of salt, bit of pepper. I've never actually had the Worcestershire sauce. Can't even say it properly, that's how foreign it is to me. We're going to douse this meat in it, and then we're also going to bob a bit in the pot as well.
Oh, look at that.
Not wrong with that. Why would you need a chopping board? Bit of roughage. Right, meat's browned off, so that means get tripod out, stick it over the fire, and get the big boy pot out. I always like using this thing. Can't always warrant it because it's not always necessary, but when I can warrant it, when I've got a mate that's got a big appetite because he's a big boy, we're getting her out, aren't we? Do you know what? And we have light. Oh, Worcestershire. Worcestershire. I'll just cut that bit out.
Put it out to the comments.
Worcestershire. Something wrong with me. Had a few gravy granules, some beef stock, and bob the lid on. Almost forgot to put the meat in. That would have been tragic. Wow, that's crazy.
Mouth wide open, eyes shut tight. Boy in me's hoping for a treat tonight. What's my love cooking? Sure looks good. She's kinda doing.
Tatty test. What we're saying.
5 minutes.
She's kinda doing like it's understood. Home cooking. Yeah, it's the best. home cooking. Comfort.
I wasn't 100% sure where the fire was going to go. I kind of wanted it where I could throw wood in from the bed. That's not really feasible, but I'm still buzzing with how it's set up. Because like you said, the tarp would just get singed.
You're like too close to your reverb, I think.
No.
Unless you make a chimney.
Oh, mate, I've seen that. You ever seen them on YouTube, the builds people do?
Oh, mate, yeah. Insane.
Clay sort of chimneys in there and stuff like that. Like, oh my god, like they find the clay on the riverbed and then they make a blooming oven out of it. I'm just like, that's next level, isn't it?
And here's me trying to think about how I'm going to construct a raised planter bed in my garden. And they're building homes out of clay.
But you think it's mad though, like how like humans have evolved in comparison to any other animal. I mean, I know it's a weird comparison, but if you think in the time that like squirrels have been about, they haven't really, from what we know at least, they haven't really done much different from their ancestors, have they? Where we're like, right, we'll build a plane, we'll slap a bit of internet on the earth. Do you know what I mean though? Like
bloody squirrels. What are they giving back to the world, yeah?
Bin them off.
Yeah.
Red, grey, whatever. Get rid.
Sack them off.
Suck them off.
Yeah, I used to do some horrible shit, mate. Like, if I was who I am now back then, I'd kick the fuck out of them.
Yeah.
I just wouldn't give a shit if
You
I was
are a
beaten
bit
up in the process.
McGregor-esque, aren't you?
Hey?
You are a bit McGregor-esque now.
What do you mean?
Conor McGregor vibes.
Why?
That's the way you walk and that bit of a swag. Yeah, a little
Bit of
bit.
a swag?
Little bit, yeah. Look at him getting all paranoid. Do what?
God.
My fishing here, I'm getting a right bite.
What I was going to say was, like, I've never found myself to be like a very good storyteller, for example. You know, like if you're out for a drink or whatever you're doing, or you're doing this now or something, you get someone in a group who's naturally like, will start saying something or telling a story about, oh, this happened years ago. Like, everyone will be like, oh my God, tell me more.
There's actually one guy at work, right, and I've told him to his face, I've said, I really envy his gift of the gab.
Yeah.
Like, whether he's on the phone, whether he's in front of the person, like, the way, I wish that smoke wouldn't do me in like it is doing. But, like, say he bumps into, like, someone in the corridor, right, like a colleague, whatever, like, his conversation is so unique to that person in that moment. Like, you know, like, you tend to fall to small talk, don't you? Like, oh, you're right, mate. Oh, weather's nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
He never does that.
Yeah.
He's always got something original and new to say to that person.
Yeah.
It's really engaging and he's always really enthusiastic. And I'm just like, that is mad, like, how quick thinking he must be. I envy it because that's just not me.
If you were to, like, honestly ask anyone who knows you or has come in contact with you, is that an issue for you? They'd say no. Because I always think, like, you've always got something to say. I think we are very self-critical about ourselves as human beings. Like, we're massively self-critical, and we need to do ourselves a service.
Give
or
ourselves
justice by saying we're actually all right. Do you know what I mean?
I think it's easier said than done, though, isn't it?
All right, see you in the morning. Or, well, we'll see if we get attacked or not by a bear in the night.
Should be right. It'll only be me doing the attacking tonight, mate.
Joel headed into the tent. He's called it a night. I'm just going to chill by the fire and soak it up a little bit more because I'm really enjoying this camp. It's been nice to say we're getting to this stage of the build where we can spend a night in it now and, you know, bring a friend down, show him it, have some decent scran, have a good natter. And that's what we've been doing for the God knows how many hours now. It's been really good. I mean, Joel's actually saying he can see why I come down as often as I do because it does just sort of take you away from the outside world. Like, it doesn't matter that you don't have 4G, like, you don't even think about looking at your phone, and it makes you be very present for whatever reason, and you're just not worried about what time of day it is. And I think, how often can you actually say that in your day-to-day life? You can't, can you? So I do think a lot of people would actually benefit getting out into their local woodland more. That being said, not in this woodland. Don't make me start weeding up trees. This is mine. but I do think if you can, you should probably get out and just sort of like, just embrace nature. As cliche and cheesy as it sounds, it's true, isn't it? I mean, the sound of the flowing river, crackling fire, do you know what I mean? Now else but that. It's chill. That being said, I'm going to get me clobber on, ready for bed. Morning, geez. That was a decent first night skip in the shelter, to be honest with you. And with the shelter, I actually think, I'm going to say it, I think we're done, aren't we? I mean, unless you can think of anything, I'm really, really happy with what we've done here. Other than a few little tweaks and a few little changes, I think we've done it. Which is mad to say. I didn't think we were going to be saying that this morning, but we are. So I hope you've enjoyed the series. I've really enjoyed making it. both the series and the build, and I'm going to go whip up the princess now. I think I'll see you in a bit.